We are keeping, Tony does that. We're keeping track of all the rescues. We're keeping track of, the age of the animal, the severity of the entanglement, the kind of the entanglement. So we do have all the data. And any scientist who's interested in taking this further can just contact us, and we're happy to just give all the information out. We're not sitting on it, and we want it to be used as much as possible. The same with our pictures. We're sitting on amazing footage. We always say we're giving this horrible situation a really cute face. So it's great. It's great for awareness, because we are not. None of us are scientists. So we can't do the studies. We can't take it further. But we're very happy to pass it on to anybody who works in that field. And we've had quite a few people who have contacted us, and they want to work with this kind of data, and hopefully it will be channeled into the right hands, because we can't change policies. The policy, a lot of policies are also actually already in place. This marine littering is completely illegal. Nobody's allowed to do that, and nobody cares. They'll just do it anyways. So there's no enforcement. So there's no political will behind enforcing the situation. And that is really difficult, and especially with entanglements, you just need so little plastic to cause so much damage. It's very difficult to really stop that, to really change that. We are working on a small scale, obviously. We're working on our own little solution here. We've got a very active fishing industry here in Namibia. And we are sort of moving a little bit into recycling, and we want to specifically target the fishing industry. So it's we're still very quiet about it, because we're still playing around. But we've got some very exciting recycling machines on the way to us, hopefully already in the country. And the hope is to get a lot of the fishing equipment, a lot of the discarded fishing gear, or what would have ended up as discarded fishing gear, to us before it ends up in the ocean. And then turn it into hopefully community products, jungle gyms for the kids, or starting
school desks.
Because we're probably going to start with like slightly simpler project of doing proper clipboards for the children, just something to show the people who can stop the littering. Just bring it back. Just give it to us. We collect it. We turn it into something good for your children. You know, just to start the thinking process, because there are no rules out there at sea. Everybody throws everything around, and nobody stops that. It's really not an issue for the people who are responsible. That needs to change.
No, sorry, no, I thought you had something to add. No, so in that scenario, it's sorry, go ahead.
Hours. I can talk for hours. You let me.
The thing is, it's really interesting, because I mean, one of my next questions would have been, what is the pragmatic approach to this? So, of course, most people would say, why are these people discarding this waste into the ocean? It's terrible. There should be regulation against this. Oh, there is regulation against this. Okay, but it should be enforced. It's like, okay, how practical is to enforce this? There's a lot of questions in terms of how this actually goes about being done. Like, one of these ways is actually starting it before it stops, like you suggested. A recycling, action actually incentivizes people to not throw it into the ocean in the first place. Is there other pragmatic ideas of going about this? Because, I'd imagine, obviously speaking from a complete layman's terms, I'd imagine the debris that gets sent to the Namibian coast isn't only from Namibia. So it doesn't matter if Namibia increases enforces the laws, or perhaps even incentivizes fishing as well. I'm assuming that gets debris from a different side as well. What are the pragmatic approaches on a larger scale in terms of being able to solve this? Is it trying to get every country to be involved as in recycling as well, or is it education? Have you looked at that at all?
The recycling is just treating right now very essential, but still treating a symptom. It's to get to the root. Education very much too, but at the end of the day, it boils largely down to economics. People need to be held massively accountable. Imagine, I always like to think a perfect scenario would be a fishing boat going out to sea, gets checked before it leaves. It has, say, 500 tons of net on board. When that boat comes in again, if that boat does not have exactly 500 tons of net on board, there are massive fines for every kilogram that are unaccounted for. Same with fishing lines, same with hooks. anything, fishing straps, the straps that are such a big issue for us. And there just needs to be stronger laws and much stronger penalties in place. Again, this is a very idealistic approach because to enforce that is so difficult, but it's education, unfortunately, yes, for our next generation, absolutely. I do believe kids are a lot more receptive to educational outreach, but for the old fisherman, his life doesn't change whether he brings that piece of line home or chucks it overboard. So unfortunately, I think economics are going to be the final say there.
I mean, I mentioned education specifically because I know that your organization also focuses on teaching, youth correct environmental practices and environmental habits. What exactly does the organization do in terms of the education and the way that it's involved in that area?
Well, at the moment, too little, but that is very very much the result of the Corona situation. So it's very difficult to reach out when you're not allowed to go anywhere. Namibia has been hit very hard with Corona, and people have gotten very sick here. We had a very high infection rate, so that has restricted us a lot to what we're doing right now, Zoom. So we've done, Naude has done quite a few online classes with kids actually from all over the world, which is really interesting and a lot of fun to do. So that's great. But the plan is very much to go out here and not just to beach cleanups, because it's the same thing. It's just, again, treating the symptom. We need to go much further and prevent all of this from happening. Namibia is a country where it's really normal. You drive down the road, you've got a car in front of you, and the car they open the window and just chuck a takeaway container out of the window, and nobody seems to think that this is funny or weird. It's normal. So you have the exact same attitude at sea or anywhere else. And that is a big problem. So that needs to change, and that obviously starts at a very early age. So it is our plan to work a lot more with the schools and go in there right from the beginning, especially when our plastic recycling machines are here, and teach everybody that plastic is not just cheap; it's also a really important resource, and the way we're treating it is horrible. We're going to run out at some stage. And what we've got out there, we might as well recycle that, because if you don't recycle it, it will break down and for the next hundreds of years. And that will be a big issue that I really believe is not addressed enough. The whole microplastic situation is very serious. We're all gonna still feel the consequences of that on a dimension that I think we can't even comprehend yet. So yeah, we've done a couple of beach cleanups, a couple of Zoom sessions, and as soon as we can, we wanna really go out there and catch the kids while you can still educate them, and that those children will go home and they will challenge their parents to behave better. We've got some amazing kids here. We've seen that whenever we do go out, they want to learn and they want to live in a clean environment, and they want to have a better world. So they must just go home and tell their parents. They must demand it from them. They messed it up, so now they can help with the cleanup. So we can utilize all that power. So
yeah, and they're incredibly motivated as well. I mean, these children, if you think about it, sorry, go ahead.
I'm saying the kids are so receptive to it. We've had nothing but amazing experiences with these kids. Wherever, whether it's at schools, on the beach, anything, can be horrible weather. These kids are so pumped to go and clean up, and yeah, it's a pleasure to work with them, and you really hope that by driving this in enough that it goes home and that it spreads out. That kids of the future, it's their planet that our generation is destroying.